This video might be shrouded in quotes and metaphors, but it's the only way that I can convey certain messages and certain concepts that have really helped me over the years. One concept that I can't seem to get away from is the metaphor of the caterpillar and the butterfly. How I perceive this essentially is when you're a caterpillar, you don't even perceive that a butterfly has anything to do with you. You don't perceive your potential. All you see is what's directly in front of you, moving inch by inch. And then what happens? The dark night of the soul comes. You go through that breakup. You lose a loved one. Someone you care about dies. That business you've been working on your entire life falls to pieces. Or it might not be anything catastrophic. It might just be your day-to-day. There's this low hum of anxiety and suffering and depression, and you're tired of it. You don't know what to do. The dark night of the soul is the perfect metaphor for the chrysalis that the caterpillar finds itself in. Eventually, it's so confined in this space, it experiences so much suffering, a feeling of suffocation, that it begins to uncontrollably freak out and do anything it can to get out of this chrysalis. And then the unexpected happens. It emerges a completely new creature. It has these massive, fucking beautiful wings, and instead of moving on the ground from inch to inch, it's soaring through the sky. This metaphor is so powerful for me because I have lived this. I've been through all kinds of heartache, all kinds of loss, and the person that I am today, the level of peace, the level of contentment that I have, it's all due to the pain and heartache that I experienced leading me up to this point. A quote that I heard a while back that I can't seem to get away from is by Stan Groff. He said, "The full expression of an emotion is the funeral pyre of that emotion." And that's just a fancy way to say you have to feel it to heal it. The reason why it took me so many years to heal and get over the death, the suicide of my father, is because I avoided the feelings for years. I numbed myself with vices, alcohol, video games, pornography, anything I could to not face this emotion. And eventually I was forced by a mushroom trip, not knowing exactly what this compound would do to me. I found myself on the ground in a fetal position for hours, weeping like a little kid. Here I am, this 33-year-old man, falling to pieces, feeling like a lost little boy, because that lost little boy I had been carrying around with me for years and years. Oftentimes, the reason why we can't reach our goals and ambitions that we have for ourselves is because we have all these traumas and wounds blocking us from freely working towards our potential. You can try to white knuckle quit vices by sheer discipline and fortitude, but it's way more difficult that way. It's like trying to cut down a tree with a dull axe, when on the other side of all the healing and all the pain, you have a fucking lightsaber. It's interesting because I started this channel as a self-improvement channel. And self-improvement has been, in a lot of ways, a catalyst for me because I'd achieve a certain body, I achieved results with women, all of these different things, but I still have this void inside of me. And all these layers, the low hum of discomfort and depression and anxiety, and none of the goals and self-improvement stuff mattered until I did this deep healing work. You don't need mushrooms, you don't need plant medicine to do this. For me, I was just really stubborn. I had ignored the signs for years and years that I needed to do this kind of work. But once I kind of tapped into that higher state of consciousness, it made me realize things like shadow work, things like forgiveness instead of holding on to years and years of resentment, trying to be better than everyone else, trying to perpetuate your feeling of separateness so your ego can feel more powerful and superior to other people. These things to young men and to just men in general seem like the solution. They seem like the antidote to the pain and feelings of lack that you have, but it actually makes it all worse. The more that you achieve, the more you realize it's not the answer. One fear that I had when embarking on this healing and spiritual journey was, once I get on the other side of healing, I'm not gonna care about anything. I won't care about goals anymore. I'll just sit on the couch all day and do nothing. But the funny thing is, the opposite is actually true. You start moving forward from a degree of abundance. Your cup overflows with contentment and love and all of these things that actually motivate you to do more work. And the work that you want to do is creative work, work that benefits other people, and the work to just no longer identifying with the things that you've been chasing your whole life simply to validate your own existence. Now, if you're still a young man and all of this stuff sounds like gibberish to you, then don't worry about it. Go back to all of the other self-improvement channels. I have been there, and I will say that going down those paths of white knuckling my own masculine progress and achievements, it was a catalyst for me. It's what ultimately led me to this place of realizing it's not the answer. And everyone's path, everybody's journey is their own, and there's no shame in any of it. But for those of you who are already kind of on the fence and you're leaning more towards the spiritual side of things, this video is for you. And I just want to tell you that you're not alone. You're exactly where you're meant to be. You're on the path that you're meant to be on. Just keep seeking, keep going within. All of the answers are within you. I don't have the answers for you, but I could point you to where the answers are, and they lie within. And man, if you're watching this right now and you're going through some kind of pain, some kind of loss, some kind of confusion in your life and you don't know who you are, just know that life is happening for you. It's not happening to you. Whether it's an intense loss or just this egoic, unquenchable desire to achieve something that will finally make you feel worthy, all of it is there for a reason. The reason why mushrooms were actually important for my particular journey is because it helped me tap into unity consciousness. It's when you realize for the first time that everything is actually one. All the polarities, black and white, up and down, good, bad, light, dark, all of it is there. That way we can perceive the good in things. So if you're going through it, you have to feel it to heal it. Understand the concept of the caterpillar and the chrysalis. For the longest time, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Why is the world such a terrible place? Why am I suffering? Why are all these things happening to me? It was nothing but a victimhood mentality. But it wasn't my fault because it was the only level of consciousness I could understand at the time. If you remember anything from this video, it's that suppression of your emotions and feelings can destroy you. And I'm not talking about reacting in an emotional or aggressive way to other people. I'm talking about getting alone, in solitude, going within, seeing what comes to the surface for you. And whatever comes to the surface, don't be afraid of it. Go deeper into it. Because on the other side of that pain, what will emerge is your true self. And that's honestly what the world needs right now. It needs the truest, most healed, most authentic version of you. And when that emerges, what's gonna happen? You're gonna wanna do exactly what I'm doing right now. Maybe not in this form, but you're gonna wanna give. You're gonna wanna share things. You're gonna wanna share wisdom and love and all the things that are inside of you that could potentially alleviate someone else's suffering. And this is the evolution of humanity. And when you get to this place, all those other things, learning how to get in shape, how to talk to women without being terrified, how to build a business that you actually enjoy. All those things are fine and you can enjoy those things. But like I always say, it'll be the icing on the cake, not the cake itself. A couple books I would like to recommend to you really quick that have really helped me over the years with this journey. Way the Superior Man by David Data. He does a great job in that book of explaining the polarities of masculine and feminine and the importance of learning how to integrate that. A lot of men are completely out of touch with the feminine side of their nature, which we actually need in order to go within and heal. It also helps a lot in dealing with women and romantic relationships. Women will make a lot more sense to you after you read this book. The second book, which is a bit more of a spiritual text, is called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. When I stumbled upon it, it was exactly what I needed. And maybe it's just me, but this book, once I started to delve a little bit deeper into spirituality and I had my own objective experiences with channeling and actually conversing with God and getting very tangible answers in my meditations. Once I found this book and started reading it, it was completely in alignment with all the things that I had been through up until this point. And maybe if I would have found this book 4 years ago, I wouldn't have been ready for it, but it's honestly one of my favorite books right now. I'm not going to put a link in the description for these books. I could put an affiliate link in there and try to make a few shekels, but honestly, I don't really care. Just Google them if they're calling out to you. I know that everybody's path is different, but I'm just here to share what my journey has been so far. That's it for this video. If you want to talk to me directly, consider joining the Conscious Men community. We do group Zoom calls a couple times a week, and we have some really good conversations in there. No topics are off the table. We discuss all kinds of things every week. Link in the description if you're interested in that. You are loved. You matter. and you've barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. I'll talk to you soon.